Hello, and welcome to the Legal Environment of Business. I'm your Professor John Harvey, and here we are in week 2. So congratulations, you guys made it through the first week. We made it through the first week of whatever that is, intermediate grading or first week stuff. So I always have students that get kicked out or dropped, or there's some sort of enrollment issue or something like that. So congratulations, you made it through that. I'm glad to see that. Glad to have everybody in the course. Looks like you got your textbook okay. We got through all that snafu. So from here on out, it should be pretty straightforward. So I'm glad we're kind of that first week is always a rough one. So I'm glad we're through that and ready to get moving. So this week, we're actually working on chapters 2 and 3, so we're going to pick up the pace. That's our general pace, is going to be 2 chapters a week, but that first week is always kind of weird, so I try and do just 1 chapter, and that way everyone can kind of get caught up, and if there's something missing, or whatever the situation is, it's not too big of a deal for that first week if someone joins late and that kind of stuff. So again, you're seeing now that chapter 1 closes off, all that material is gone, and now you're looking at chapter 2 and 3. Now you'll notice that I do keep the wikis open, and that is to help you with the study guide. So as you prepare 2 terms in a concept and fill that in, you're going to find that that's very helpful in going back and refreshing your mind on a chapter that you did several weeks before. So it'll be a good study guide. You'll see how it works. It's really handy to do that. But for that reason, those wikis stay open until the test. And so that's how that works. But your discussion boards and your assignments and all that stuff, everything closes off in the week that it's due. So hopefully you're getting kind of familiar with that and you'll get used to that idea. And again, I would caution you to not wait till Tuesday night to get stuff done. That just generally is going to be a bad habit that is going to bite you at some point when Blackboard goes down, or you have some sort of family thing or whatever and you just don't get it done. This is where you want to kind of get the stuff done ahead of time. So be ready for that, chapter 2 and 3 this week. Now, turning to the discussion board. So the discussion board is talking about the schools of jurisprudence. And first of all, let me give out the discussion board award. Now, normally I would go through and come up with something kind of clever and sort of some tongue-in-cheek and kind of, joke or hint or whatever. But with this one, you guys did a fabulous job. You just went right through the different schools of thought. You listed them out. You kind of documented what they were about, and then you called out what what you thought your favorite one is. And that's my little sticking point, is it does have to be one. You can't just say, oh, I like all of them. So good on you guys for kind of catching that. And but in general, I gotta say, Brandon did a great post. So no kind of joke about it. Check out Brandon's post. He did a fabulous job, quoting Aristotle, quoting Declaration of Independence, put in a lot of thought and comment to each one of those. So way to go, Brandon. Well done. Keep up the good work. Love that stuff. And for everybody else, you should go check it out and take a look at that one. So it's a good one. But I did want to kind of use that as the jumping off point here for chapter 1. How we use laws is really a way that we interact or guide society. And that's a kind of an uncomfortable position in my book. For me, that's a very uncomfortable position to be in. To say that I want to guide and direct society in a certain way, and therefore I'm going to put laws in place for that. That just feels too egotistical for me. So I'm not that kind of guy that wants to become a senator or a congressman and try and put that stuff into play. But some of you might think about that, how we designate things. I mean, you think about the civil rights movement, those kind of laws. You think about just the Declaration of Independence, but then even just simple things like speeding tickets and stuff like that. Those laws got enacted There's some crazy stuff like in Montana, I think, that for the longest time they didn't have a speed limit. The limit was something like, prudent and thoughtful, or, cautious, or just something like that, and at some point there was enough federal pressure that they had to put in a speed limit. And so then it was like, $5 if you, went past the speed limit. So, in that sense, you can kind of get a perspective, right? That, these laws are how we can guide society. And, thinking of that, there should be a standard speed limit across all states or across all types of roads or something like that. That's one way of doing it. There's also the other way of allowing the states to have those interesting, differences, right? And so, but these laws, how we decide and how we create them, there's a process of being too specific, in which case, you can find ways around that. And then there's laws that are too general, in which case it's hard to enforce. And so then you have a lot of lawsuits where people are like, I thought I was following the law, but you tell me I didn't. And so what does that law really mean? And so there's kind of this balance. And these schools of thought really help guide your perspective on what the law is about. So while I'm saying it guides society, you could say that it's a way of interacting with society, but you could also say that these schools of thought really are ingrained in different laws. And you're going to find those as we go through this course. Some of these laws are very, held down from generation to generation kind of things. Some of them are, brought over from other systems. And some of them are really to, try and speak to, future and trying to, guide and be a different type of society and that kind of thing. And so it's really kind of a mixed bag. And so while you can have your favorite school of jurisprudence, I want you to, and I'm going to challenge it, and I'm going to point it out later on. We're going to get to some of these laws and some of these sections, and I'm going to say, you remember this stuff? Like, can't you see that, it's really different in this situation versus, the other laws that we've run across? And so, while this one feels very esoteric or very general, I think, knowing about these different perspectives, you're going to see kind of their core, or you're going to see examples of them throughout this semester. So good stuff. Hope you enjoyed it. And so we'll wrap up for this week. But remember, chapter 2 and 3 this week, and make sure and get your stuff done early so you don't run into any sort of deadlines. All right, guys. Have a great week. Talk to you soon.